Hi, this is On Imagination. Welcome to the Ethical Asshole, and I am your host, Silly Bitch. So we are talking about friendship, and this is really part two of one of the last videos I did, where I talk about the constant and societal zits and societal puberty. And one of the things that I'm starting to really pull apart when it comes to friendship is this is a very, very difficult topic for me as far as getting to the root of this, trying to figure out from the inside what exactly the situation is. And this is leading into a whole nother topic I have going of the insider versus the outsider. And the insider has pros and cons, and the outsider has pros and cons. And it's not until the insider becomes the outsider that you can integrate both points of views, and then you can finally articulate the truth. And that's it right there. The outsider fails to know the inside. The inside, while they are on the inside, fails to understand the outside. So the insider is the only one who is able to become an outsider. The outsider has to choose to become an insider, learn, and then come back out again. But it's the insider that has to, and I think that's why when I was watching that Hell's Angels documentary, that I was able to learn so much, is because he was both an outsider who had become an insider. So he integrated both points of views. And I was an insider needing to be an outsider. And when I became an outsider, I was able to go, wow, you guys are fucking clueless in speaking to outsiders, commenting about what they think the inside is like. And that's just it. That's it really right there, is you've got the insider and the outsider point of view, and they're two completely different points of views. And you have got to understand that this is the insider point of view, and then you've got outsider point of view, and they're completely different. And when you integrate them, only then do you get the full picture. But just having that full picture is not enough. You have to be able to articulate it to deliver it to other people. It is a lot of work. It's the kind of work that most people don't even survive, because if you're on the inside, you usually don't get out. And if you get out, you don't get out sane or alive. So I'm looking at friendships, and I have been, this is a subject I have really struggled with my whole life. I have had a 22-year-old friendship that turned out not to be a friendship at all. I had a 28-year-long friendship with somebody who was not at all a friend. And I have somebody right now who is actually showing me, oh, this is what friendship is. So I have a lot of data that I'm pulling together from. I also had a plethora of situations. By the time I was 12 years old, it was made very clear to me that I was popular. Right up until I was 12 years old, I was the popular girl. And everyone wanted to be me. Everybody wanted to be like me. I fucking hated it. I loathed being popular because I never knew who my friends were. It's right there. I never knew who my actual people were. So I thought I had people who loved me. I trusted them. I gave them my all. And turns out they just wanted to be around the popular girl. They just wanted to be around the pretty girl. And somebody once said it, that I feel bad for attractive people because they never knew who their friends are. Oh, that is true. When you are attractive, you have no fucking idea who your friends are. And I didn't. And by the time I was 12, I figured this out, and I went isolated. I totally just went rogue, and I'm like, all right, I'm just going to be alone. People I need to clarify, girls either hated me or they idolized me. I never could find anyone who didn't do one or the other. I'm used to being hated. That was, and those were my options. Either they hate me or they idolized me. And it got to a point where I became so distant, so isolated, that I just accepted it. Right, got it, not a problem. Something that was very real to me when I was 12. When I was 16, I remember I met one girl, and it was the only person in the world who I ever spoke opera with. She loved opera. We met in the opera section of Barnes & Noble, and I talked to her for like 2 hours on opera. And then I never saw her again. And that was about as close to having somebody like me that I'd ever come. And when I was around 21, 22, I attracted a very toxic, narcissistic person in my life who clung to me for a lot of her own mental issues. And that relationship really was a cesspool that just turned into a lot of trauma over the years. And it came to a head about a month ago, 2 months ago, and it fell apart. And I am much better for it. It was a huge relief when I got out of it. In 2020, my second husband, who had also been my best friend of 28 years, threw me out because I was too old to breed. So I realized that I was an investment. He was very much a business head, very business minded, and I was literally an investment. I was an asset that he was investing in for 12 years to get an ROI. And when he realized that he could not get the return upon his investment, that's when he threw me out. So my understanding of friendship has been very, very corrupted. And I became this let's figure out what friendship is. And I heard people telling me what they thought friendship was. This is where it got really, really interesting. Now, while all this is going on, in 2021, I met someone, fell in love. He's my imp king. If you know any about my writing, then you know my imp king. And he is still with me strong. Like, he is, no matter what I have gone through, he has been with me through it all. And not just been with me, nourishing me and watching out for me, speaking up and telling me, no matter if I want to hear it or not, what I need to hear when I need to hear it. And what that has done for me is teach me something very invaluable. And I am that kind of a person that when I pick up a friendship, when I care about somebody, I will tell you the truth and I will tell you what I'm worried about, no matter what. I will get in your face and I will say, this is what I noticed. This is what I see. And if I don't say something, then I am not being an honorable person and doing right by you. For me, friendship is an obligation to say something if you notice something toxic. And this to me has been my driving core my whole life. And it's why I don't have friends, is because people don't want the truth. And this is where, in my last video, one of my last videos where I talked about constants, it was a huge grounding rod of truth. Now, we are all looking for the truth. Scientists, some of us, more obsessively than others, but we are all looking for the truth. And now, there are some of us who have decided to sit down in the ground and say, I am going to decide that this is the truth without any scientific knowledge. And those people are opinion people. Truth people are on the other side of the spectrum, where they found truth, they've got the science to prove it, and it's a constant, and they've got 100% information no matter what to back it up, and they know the truth. So those are literally, they know the truth. Now, this is what I love about the word know. It's got the word knowledge in it. Knowledge is knowing. It's in the word. Opine doesn't. Opine has absolutely nothing whatsoever to do with knowledge. In fact, if you Google the word, that is exactly what the word means. To decide something is true without any science, knowledge, belief, or anything. It is uneducated belief. It is the epitome of, I am uneducated and I'm going to decide without education or knowledge. We call this stupid. There's no other word for it. That is ignorant and stupid, which literally means ignore. Ignore comes from the Greek gnostic, which means know, G-N-O-S-T. That's no. That's actually where the word know comes from. And ignore means the opposite. It means to refuse knowledge or knowing. So you're ignorant, hence ignorant, hence stupid. Opinions are for the ignorant. Fact is for those who value truth. Now, you've got people who think they have the truth, but they don't have the science or the knowledge of science to prove it. And as a result, they rely on faith. And on the other side of that spectrum, you have the proof people. Now, this is where it gets to be funny, because in order for proofs to work, you have to have faith in your proof skills. So there is actually, in the logic world, where, well, you need faith and proof. And you get faith by building up your reputation and your knowing in proof. So you get proof of concept, which gives you faith. So faith in the science world is actually proof of concept. But people without knowledge don't know that. They're just ignorant. They're not even using faith. They're just ignorant. Because when you look at that, faith is built off of a proof of concept, and now you have faith in your logic, which is faith in self, which is exactly what self-confidence is developed from, is your faith in your own proof. Because you have proof of concept, you now develop self-confidence and self-esteem, which is why people with knowledge who are educated have high self-esteem, and people who are ignorant have low self-esteem. It's because it's your relationship to your knowledge. If you have a poor relationship with your knowledge, you're going to have low self-esteem because you lack faith, because you have no proof of concept, because you have not done or accomplished, which is exactly what a proof is. It is the doing and the accomplishment that says, I did it. I love science. So when you put all of these factors together, you're now taking a massive step back and you're asking yourself, which of this part of the spectrum am I looking for? Now, as you are looking for truth, you are literally on a journey of truth. This is the Asha journey. This is literally what you're doing. You're looking for truth. Now, some of us take this journey very seriously and others do not, which is okay. We're all different. However, when you are choosing friends, and this is where it gets really, really sticky. When you are choosing friends, what you are really doing is choosing people who have a relationship with the Asha journey. But because you don't know about the Asha journey and this pursuit of truth, you don't know to weigh your friendship against it. So you develop friendships until you both eventually come to this point in your life where you start comparing things and you realize you don't match up. Oh, but your interests match up, but not this other unspoken thing that no one knows about. The thing that no one knows about it is truth. So then you end up with friends who try to change you. Friends or lovers or husbands or wives that try to change you. And you're going, what are you doing? Why are you trying to change me? Well, I don't know who you are anymore. You've changed. Let's translate that from common language over into Asha language. What is really going on theoretically behind the brain in those moments, let's say the subconscious mind, is this. You are pursuing the truth. Now, the truth is pure love, so it's got this pull of magnetism that just draws you into it. You don't have a choice. If you're growing toward that. That's what you're doing. You're growing toward truth. Now, your friends are the people who are doing one of two things. Either they are growing with you toward the truth, or they are not your friends. Your friends are the people who are on the same truth journey as you. Now, here's where there's a problem. The people who are on the same truth journey with you are all going toward truth. Now, you can all feel it. You can all go toward it. You're getting pulled it. Now, I'm done with my Asha journey. I'm there. I can sit down and throw down any kind of logic, physics, proof, math, to sit there and go, yep, I got the truth. Here it is. And this is the facts behind it. It's all on my website, onnaimagination.com. So I'm not guessing. I'm using math to go, yeah, I already did that math. Here it is. When I open my mouth, here it is. I've already done it. Here's the research. Every time I do one of these videos, it's the accumulation of the shit that I just found. And then I go over to my website, I put it there, and then I take all of the data and the stats and and I throw it in there, and there you go. So by the time I get to you guys, I've already done the work. Or I'm hypothesizing, and I tell you, I'm hypothesizing. This is an hypothesis. And if I'm not hypothesizing, I'm in the process of completing the work, already done it. It's on my website, documented. Then I transfer it all over onto my free courses where I lay it down so you guys can learn it. But if you really want to know how this works, it's over on my website. You can look at the proof. So I am way beyond the Asha journey. I'm done with the Asha journey. I'm at the next stage. And I'm also accumulating data and tacking on and building what I've already done. It's an old hat for me. I'm bored. Meanwhile, people are in stage 4 of their Asha journey out of 36 stages. The fact that there are 36 stages and I can walk you through each and every one of them shows you how well I've got this thing down. Other people are at their 4th stage. Other people are at their 6th stage. I got some people at the 7th stage. And I'm like, yeah, I remember back when I was there. You're in the I of I. There are 3 groups to the 36 stages: the I of I, the you of I, the they of I. I'm at the point of comprehension. So I'm talking to people about this. And they're sitting there telling me what they think and all that. And I just have no tolerance for it because they're all saying the same thing. Basically, there is this false, I don't know what you would call it. I haven't called this thing anything yet. It's there. It's this red herring. Oh, I like that. The rod of red herring. It's the red herring rod. Oh, we're going to call it that. It's the red herring rod. So we have a red herring rod. Now, I've noticed that there's a lot of people, we're going to call those 6 perspectives, all gathering around the red herring rod. And they think this is truth, but I got the truth and I got all the proof and I got all the physics and the math and the biology showed up and I went, oh, it's really the truth now because the biology is here. So Mother Nature has spoken. I'm like hugging this pole. Like, okay, I am the pole. I have become the pole. Meanwhile, 6 perspectives are hovering around this red herring pole. And then there's another one where we've got the 4th perspectives, and they're all hovering around their red herring pole. The 4th perspectives are the conformists. The 6th perspectives are the woke people. And then there is this other group over here, and they are the 2nd ethical perspectives. Those are the religious people. And those are in subgroups of Christian and Muslim and Jews. And they've got all of their variation of the 2nd ethical red herring pole. And here's the thing is, every one of these red herring poles has a percentage of the truth. Let's say about 10%. So if you're cleaning to a red herring rod, you've got 10% of the truth. And if you are at the red conformist's 4th perspective, you are at that 10%. And the problem with all of these other poles is you're at your pole and you're not growing. That's the problem. They've abandoned the journey and now they're in an oasis. And the oasis is the not growing zone. And because if you're growing, especially if you're 6 ethic, there's this moment where you're going to have to abandon all your spirituality and your woke crap so you can cross over. But they're not doing that. So they're hanging out in the delusion of an oasis while they cling to their chakra stones to ground themselves because they're really not grounded at all, which is why they need the chakra stones. It's a materialistic object that's deluding them to think they're okay. But as soon as they stop meditating, their world crumbles because they're not okay because they don't know how to regulate. If you know how to regulate, you do it. You are regulated without the chakra stones. Meanwhile, the 4th perspectives have not at all grown because they're still 4th perspective, and they haven't grown since they were 2 years old, 3 years old, 4 years old, which is why they're where they are. And these are the people we all know, and well, we're very familiar with that group. They just don't change. And that is their alma mater. Change is bad. That's what they're known for. So we know they're not growing. So change is bad. Change is evil. They're the ones who resist all change, and they like to be stagnant. Mother Nature, evolution, science says, yeah, no, not going to happen. So there's no changing them, which is okay. That's going to lead them down a different path, and that's okay. The red herring rod people of the 6th ethical perspective are in the delusion to think they're growing when they're really not, which is why they're in the oasis. And then you've got the 2nd perspectives who are with their religions and they think they've got all the answers. But the rule number 1 of the 12 ethics and of the truth rod is you had better be learning. It's like the number 1 rule is you better be learning. And if you're not learning, you're not going to be okay, which is the whole point of all of this, because that is evolution. That is being in the state of growth and change. You got to learn. The 2nd ethical perspective people are not learning. They're the people who opine saying, oh, I know the truth. No, you don't, because you're at the 2nd ethical perspective. Absolutely not. Are you learning? Have you grown? No, they are the exact same mindset that they were born in at 2 years old. So now you've got people who haven't changed, who haven't grown. Now, there are exceptions to this. There are exceptions. And it's really nice to see the exceptions. And those exceptions are starting to speak out softly and gently. So it's nice to see that group rising out to say, you guys need to know what our religion really is about. And it's wonderful to hear from them because the more they speak, the more they educate others, and they're doing it peacefully and beautifully and gently. And I'm going, oh, they're actually closer to the truth then the majority of people, they're actually about 90% there. But they've learned the 12 ethics. So they know how to do it calmly, quietly, peacefully, and very gently, which is exactly what we learn when we get to the ethics. They're really close to the truth. They're really, really close to the truth. So we're all basically having this truth war. But there's people who don't have any of the evidence, and then there's people who do, and then there's people who don't know what faith actually is because they're not educated in faith or proof or science to even know what faith is. And as a result, and this is really what it gets interesting, is the louder they are, well, the dumber they are usually. The most uneducated are the ones who speak and scream the loudest because they don't know how to regulate, which is your third ethic, which means if you're loud, you're probably a first or a second ethic. Yeah. Yeah. I know what I'm saying. I stand by what I'm saying. It's really important to embrace self-honesty. It's really, really important. So as all this comes together and I'm looking at it, really, as it all comes together, I realize that friendships are the people who are more interested in changing you to draw you to their rod of truth, to the red herring, than allowing you to grow on your own path. And that's the difference between a friend and not a friend. A friend is the one who says, grow on, no matter what. Grow on, no matter what. I'll see you at the end. Oh, yeah. Those are the words of a friend. Grow on, no matter what. I will see you at the end. That is a friend. That's the kind of friend I have. Grow on, no matter what, and I will see you at the end. People don't say that. People don't say that at all. What people say is, you need to not say that. You need to not speak like that. You need to change your way to make it sound like me. You need to change the way. You need to be nicer to people. You need to. Those are not friends. Because a real friend says, grow on no matter what, and I will see you at the end. Because I have a friend like that. In fact, that is one of the vows that we have together, is we grow on no matter what. And that is all that matters to the two of us. You grow on no matter what. And I will see you at the end. When you have a constant like that, it really puts in perspective what you don't have. It also puts in perspective what you do have. But if you don't have a friend like that, then you're never going to understand, because you need the relativity of point A and point B. And if you just have point B, you have no perspective. So this is what people don't know about perspective. Having perspective means you have A and B. And if you have never known anything other than B, then you have no perspective, because you have a bubble or a point. You have to have the absolute polar opposite in order to have that point of relativity. And that's been my saving grace in all of my life. That's been the one thing that over and over again, I realized, oh, wow, this is what I need. I have one person who has been that sound, solid, you grow on no matter what. And that put such massive perspective in my life. So I was able to look at everybody else and go, oh, well, you're not a friend, because you don't want me to grow on. You want me to change and join you. So either you have people who are recruiting you, you have people who are trying to pull you in or draw you in or change you. And the thing is, if you're on the truth journey or the pilgrimage or your learning journey or your healing journey, you have one destination, and it's your truth, which is the truth. But there's a lot of bullshit and distraction along the way. This is one of my favorite topics to talk about. is what it's like being on the Asha journey or the pilgrimage, and that journey and how much bullshit and distraction there is along the way. This is really, truly what I can talk on indefinitely and just describe it at every stage. And it's just the most amazing experience there is. And as you go through every stage, one of the things you're looking for is that constant, that one eye on the horizon that you never take your eye off of. Socrates called this the archetype, but you had a bunch of outsiders trying to interpret Socrates. You have to be an insider and understand that. You also have a lot of people with the fourth perspective comprehension gap trying to tell you about Socrates' archetype. As a result, they botched it. So you've got an outsider with the fourth perspective comprehension gap trying to explain Socrates. And thus Christianity was born. So we're going to try and translate this. When you have a constant, the constant can never change. And the constant is truth. The constant is 100% accurate all the time, no matter what. And it is math. And it is also physics. And it is logic. That is the foundation. Now, the foundation of that foundation is word. And the expansion of that is chemistry, ontology, and biology. But really, math, logic, and physics are at the core of that solid triangle. And that doesn't change. Each of one of those things is a language. Every one of them is a language. And it is the integration of all those languages together that gives you a different language, another language. And that's the language that no one except mostly biologists can even understand, which is why biologists are really the geniuses of the world. But when you integrate all of that with all of art and then you expand onto that, you get a whole nother realm. And a whole nother realm, it's like it's exactly like a gobstopper. It's exactly like a gobstopper with all the different layers. And every layer is a summation of the next layer that is around that point of integrated truth, which is math, logic, and physics. And they're all languages. And if you don't speak the language, you can't read the map. Most of us can't read the map. So most of us are lost. Most of us are sitting inside point B, having absolutely no relativity or triangulation to even figure out where or who you are, what you are, or where you're going. But you got a lot of people going, oh, you should be over here. You should. Every time you hear the word you should, oh, that's a red flag. Really highly, highly question what you are around. Because what you should be doing is listening only to your intuition, which is probably as close as you've got to math, logic, and physics, mathematical intuition or logical intuition. We actually use these words in math and logic. And when you know how to use mathematical and logical intuition, you find your way a lot clearer. The problem is you probably haven't studied math, logic, and physics, so you really are bad at interpreting your own intuition, which is a problem for you if you haven't studied those things. You are on an Asha journey. You're going to need knowledge. So if you are not into learning, that's going to be a massive problem for you. Meanwhile, while you're on this massive journey, you're heading toward trying to figure out where you're going because you got that massively powerful draw. That's magnetism, that's physics. And instead of following it, you've got these other people going, oh no, you need to be like this. You need to listen to me. You need to, oh, if I hear the words, you need to one more time. What you need to be doing is whatever you need to be doing for you. And a friend will say to you, grow on no matter what, because I will see you at the end, because they know you're going to the right place. They're going to the same place. Now, another friend, the best friend, will say, I love you. And you are off your journey path. You're not in the right place. You got to turn around. You're not moving. You got to get up and move. And that is really what a friend is. And suddenly it became really, really clear to me. So clear. My narcissist friends, my friendly liars, what they told me was a friend is who accepts you and loves you anyway. No. Because if you are sitting there making stupid choices and you are shooting up on heroin, her definition means that they'll shoot up heroin with you and support you. That's not a friend. No, that is not a friend. Someone who accepts you no matter what is not a friend. That is a logical fallacy. A friend is the one who says, I love you, but you're hurting yourself. What are you doing? I advocate for your identity, not your subconscious mind. Your identity is not happy. I advocate for your happiness, no matter what, because that's the friend I am. And if I see that you are doing something that's self-destructive, her definition means she'll support you. She'll nourish it even. She'll probably load up the needle and hand it to you. I don't need friends like that. That is somebody who needs people. A friend is the one who actually puts together interventions for you. A friend is the person who actually gets in your face and says, you're hurting yourself and you need to get up and move. You're not going the right way. Truth is over there. You said you wanted A, but you are doing B. You're not doing self-preservation. So I'm going to step in and kick you in the ass to wake up your self-preservation for you. That is a friend. They're the ones who say, grow on, no matter what, because I will be there for you at the end. But I'm going to stand here and kick you in the ass if you decide to sit in the mud. Because I'm going to sit in the mud with you, and then I'm going to say, you have sat in the mud too long. You need to get up and you need to move, because if you don't move, you're going to rot. The friends are the ones who deal through the tough love. That is a friend. It took me way too fucking long to figure this out, because there are so many friendly liars out there. That's right. The day I met that man is the day love really became clear to me. It's the day I found truth. And I have had this massively clear path in my life ever since. And it was enough that I could suddenly translate everything and go, oh, because he gave me the A to oppose the B so I could have perspective. That's love. That's love. Thank you. May the kindest of words always find you.